Welcome to this explainer. You know, if you've been scrolling through retail headlines lately, you might assume America's traditional supermarkets are caught in some massive retail apocalypse, with Albertsons and Safeway just shutting doors left and right. But today, we're diving into the brutal economics of the grocery industry to uncover why these closures aren't a sign of defeat. They are actually the first shots fired in a massive, behind-the-scenes retail war.
Section 1. The Store Closure Contradiction.
To understand the puzzle we're trying to solve here, we really have to look at the raw numbers that sparked this entire conversation. In fiscal 2025, Albertsons closed exactly 35 stores across its various brands. Now, when that news alert hits your phone, especially when it involves a beloved neighborhood spot like Safeway or Vons, it instantly triggers alarm bells. I mean, 35 boarded-up buildings definitely sounds like a major retreat, right?
But hang on, let's look at the other side of the ledger. During that exact same period, the company opened just 9 new locations. So yes, they're still building, but at a tiny fraction of the pace they are shutting doors.
Do the math, and you are left with a net reduction of 26 locations. When you look at that one metric in total isolation, it paints a pretty gloomy picture. It feeds right into this popular narrative that the traditional grocery store model is just dying out.
Which brings us to a really fascinating question. Is this massive grocery empire actually shrinking, or are they just trimming the fat for a much bigger fight? Because here is the twist. Despite this net reduction, the company actually expects to finish their current fiscal year with a net increase in stores. The sheer scale here completely flips the script. Those 26 net closures, they represent a practically invisible 1.15% decline across a staggering 2,244 store empire. We are talking about an empire that serves over 36 million customers every single week. So this isn't a collapse at all. It's actually a highly calculated adjustment.
Section 2. The math behind grocery stores.
To understand why a totally successful company would voluntarily board up its own locations, we need to look under the hood. A supermarket can pull in millions in top-line sales and still be a completely toxic asset. Why? Because those notoriously razor-thin profit margins are constantly getting eaten alive by rising labor costs, sky-high real estate premiums, astronomical refrigeration bills, and the never-ending need to upgrade logistics technology. It is a relentlessly tough industry where any inefficiency is instantly punished.
Because of this, Albertsons isn't evaluating a store by its foot traffic or its top-line revenue. They are strictly looking at bottom-line profitability. If a really high-volume location is operating at a net loss because of its local overhead, it effectively acts as an anchor. It just drags down the profitability of the entire 2,200 store network.
In corporate strategy, this is known as footprint optimization. So closing a struggling neighborhood Safeway isn't throwing a white flag, it's a strategic retreat to free up trapped capital. By cutting the dead weight, they can funnel that cash right back into the network, creating a leaner, way more lethal operation overall.
Section 3. The threat from retail giants.
Now, Albertsons isn't just optimizing in a vacuum. They are fortifying against an overwhelming external squeeze. Traditional supermarkets are caught in this brutal pincer movement right now. You've got Walmart leveraging unparalleled global scale to just hammer down supplier prices. You have Costco locking in fierce customer loyalty and guaranteed revenue through its membership model. And on the other end, Aldi's aggressively capturing the bottom of the market with a stripped-down, ultra-low-cost structure.
Throw nasty macroeconomic pressures like inflation into the mix, and you have exhausted consumers drastically altering their habits. They are trading down to private labels or just abandoning traditional aisles altogether for discount clubs. This puts incredible pressure on Albertsons to hold the line on prices just to keep foot traffic, even as those moves chew up their own survival margins.
Section 4. Surviving the failed Kroger deal.
This aggressive optimization strategy became a literal matter of life and death following a huge industry shakeup. You probably remember the headline number, $24.6 billion. Albertsons spent years trying to merge with Kroger to finally achieve the massive scale they needed to fight Walmart and Costco head-on. But with that mega merger ultimately blocked by regulatory opposition, Plan A was totally dead.
Forced back into the trenches as an independent player, Albertsons is now facing a monumental puzzle. Without Kroger's combined war chest to rely on, resource allocation is zero-sum. They have to ruthlessly decide exactly which stores get digital upgrades and expensive remodels and which ones get cut loose. Every single dollar of capital has to justify its existence.
Section 5. The Real Grocery War. So how does this independent survival strategy actually play out over the next few years? Well, the optimistic bull case for Albertsons relies on its massive volume, remember, 36.5 million weekly customers, and highly defensive demand rooted in deeply entrenched local brands. But the bear case offers a pretty stark warning. In a hyper-competitive market, closing a neighborhood store might not force that shopper to drive a few miles to the next Safeway. It might just hand a loyal customer straight to Walmart or Costco forever.
Because of that risk, the true metric of success here isn't the number of boarded-up buildings. The real test is what happens to the capital after the closure. Does the money they save successfully fund a thriving new location in a high-growth suburb? Do the profit margins at the remaining stores actually rise? That is literally the only way to measure if this optimization is working.
This entire saga proves that the era of simply putting food on shelves, unlocking the front doors, and hoping for the best is over. The modern grocery battleground is fought strictly over immense scale, rock-bottom pricing, frictionless convenience, and ironclad customer loyalty.
With the landscape shifting so fast, the ultimate question remains. In this high-stakes game of corporate survival, who really wins the American grocery war? Is it the unstoppable scale of Walmart, the loyalty of Costco, a ruthlessly optimized Albertsons? Or is it you, the consumer, who now commands more aggressive, competitive options than ever before? Keep an eye on your local aisles because the real war is just getting started.